Right, so I like to say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah HaKadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. So we're going to get straight into it. This is Revelations 18:1. And the scripture says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power. And the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not of her plagues." And that's ultimately talking about the elect, because only the remnant is going to return back into Yahweh Wah Yahweh Shai. If you read scriptures, book, chapters, and verses that talks about how the Lord always saved or delivered the remnant of Israel, you can go into, I want to say Isaiah 10:20, Romans, Romans 9:27, somewhere around there. Isaiah 1:9, it talks about the remnant, right? And there's more, Zephaniah, Zechariah, and it says, verse 4 again, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Now, that's not talking about, packing up survival gear, right? And run into the mountains somewhere, right? Let's hop on a plane. Let's get out of here before the destruction of America. No, that's not what that's talking about. Because the only one that can deliver us from the troubles that come is Yahweh Wah Yahweh Shai, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, Yahweh through his son Yahweh Shai, right? And it says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven." Why? Because the scriptures tell you that the wickedness have increased. You could read that in the book of Second Ezra. I want to say Second Ezra 7:41, starting at the first verse, right? You could read that in Ecclesiasticus, I want to say maybe 3:16 or 6:13 or something like that. And you can read that in Genesis 6:5, right? You can also read the book of First John chapter 5 verse 19, right? And it says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities," right? And the her is speaking about is America, right? AKA Babylon, right? If you just look at the wickedness, and like I always say, anytime somebody come up, one of the questions that I ask them is America a sinful nation? And the answer is always yes, right? And it says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues." And when it's talking about America, it's actually talking about those that rule America, because the land can't do nothing, right? The land can't sin. Dirt isn't going to get up and commit adultery or spiritual fornication, right? Or be covetous. So when it's talking about Babylon, it's talking about America, and it's talking about those that dwell in America, because it's always a people before it's a place. "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire," right? So she's going to be utterly burnt with fire. And this is what the Lord is preparing the nations for. The Lord is preparing the nations and working on the minds of the nations, because the scripture says that the Lord mustereth the battle. Actually, let's get that, right? He mustereth the battle. Right? Let's get it. Salakia. right? So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 4. Isaiah 13 and 4. And the scripture says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kings of the nation. Gathered together, the Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So the Lord mustereth the host of the battle. So the Lord is working on the minds of the nations by way of through the angels, right? To do what? To gather together the nations to go to war, right? That's why when you go into the book of I believe it's Revelations 11 and 14, the scripture says the second woe has passed, the third woe cometh quickly, and that's going to be the war to end all wars. So let's go back to Revelations 18. So Revelations 18 and starting back at 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with the sword, with the fire. That's why one of those plagues is the fire. And it proved that already in that verse, but we can go ahead and grab Zechariah 14 and 12 as well. Zechariah 14 and 12, and it says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. And who is that? That's all the nations. The Edomites, the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Ishmaelites, the Hamites, all nations have fought up against Jerusalem and have put Jerusalem into captivity, which are the Israelites, right? Their flesh shall consume away with their while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And that what that reminds you of, the first Terminator, when she was straggling the fence, Sarah Connor, and that when that nuke went off, you seen a big bright light, and then you just see that fire come in. But actually, there are steps that happens before that fire actually hits you. You know, you have the light, then you have the blast of wind, and then you have the smoke, then you have the fire in the process. And that's what's gonna really wipe people out, man. You know, is that active nuclear missile. You know, there's a show that my demon watch, which is called The 100, and there's a scene where it shows that this lady, they was up in some type of ship, and she created an AI system. And I guess the AI system, the only way to make the human race better or survivable is by wiping out half the human race. And she ended up doing something that caused all the nuclear missiles from China to from US to Iran, Russia, and all of them to shoot nukes. And the video shows the nukes actually, you know, hitting the destinations. And it shows you that in other movies too, you know. So again, you know, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. So let's go back to this Revelations 18. But this is where it's getting to. It's getting to the final phase. The final phase is all out war. So Revelations 18 and 19, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So this is already talking about the destruction of America. You know, this is already talking about America being hit with nuclear missiles, the smoke rising up from her. And the scripture says, for ye shall not be able to see the sun nor stars in the sky. Right? Because when them nukes go up, that's it. Now, if you're also paying attention to this video, it's clips on the blast of a nuclear missile, and it creates that mushroom cloud. And the scriptures talk about the roll, right? I want to say, where is that? The roll. It talks about the scroll. My bad, the scroll. I said the roll. Salakia. The scroll. I think that's in Isaiah or Zechariah. Right, that's in Isaiah. Isaiah 34 and 4. It says, and and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree. So you can see the scroll on the video, right? When a nuke goes off, it sends that blast of force in the air, which creates scrolls, right? So this is how you know, if you put the scriptures together with events that's going on in the world, you can actually see that this is talking about nuclear missiles, right? You know, you got these different religions who sit there and say nuclear missiles aren't in the Bible. Well, because you're not going to see the word nuclear missile in the Bible. What you're going to see is arrows, arrows, arrows. There's even a movie that's called Arrow, right? And the movie is about nuclear missiles. Like, come on, man. You people. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. And that sword is representing that judgment, man. Right? Them arrows, them nuclear missiles. Right? So going back to Revelations 18. Right? So Revelations 18:9. Actually, let me start back up at 8. And therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judges her. Right? Because the scriptures tell you in Deuteronomy 32, and I believe 32 and 35, scriptures tell you that vengeance is mine. That's what the Lord say. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, that great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So in 1 hour, this place will be destroyed, man. Right? In 1 hour, this place will be destroyed. And there's something, there was a game that I played, and it's called Dragon Dogma. And it's on the Xbox 360, and the dragon told the Arisen, he said for a kingdom that took centuries, centuries, plural S, right, to build, I destroyed in, well, I believe he said I destroyed in a day or something like that. I forget how he said it, man, but he pretty much said I destroyed it in a day. Right? Something that took men so long to build, he destroyed it in 1 day. So it's like, hey, the Most High say he's going to destroy this place in an hour, man. In an hour, man. And it says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. How would they? It's destroyed. Right? You can't buy nothing that is destroyed. It's wiped off the face of the earth. And this is what the scripture is talking about, man. America is about to be laid desolate. America about to be done much, 100 times worse than what was done in Sodom and Gomorrah. And it says, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stone and of pearls and of fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood. It says, and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were a dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all, man. So that's it. This is what's coming to America. It's all out destruction. Let me get this. Revelations 11 and 14, and the scripture says, the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, because again, the Most High is doing what? Well, this is what he's doing. This is the book of Jeremiah 50 and 9. And the scripture says, for lo, I will rise and cause to come up. And like I said, this is what he's doing. The Most High is doing what? He working on the minds of the people of other nations to come together to do what? To destroy America. For lo, I will rise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations. Plural S, great nations. It says, from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows, right, shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain, because those arrows is going to have the spirit of the Most High dwelling within them, right? You can go to Psalms, what is that, Psalm 7 and 12. Let's get that, Psalm 7 and 12. And the scripture says, if he turn not, he will whet his sword. He have bent his bow and made it ready. He have also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the prosecutors. So the Most High is about to destroy this place. The scriptures talk about how the Lord created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, man. Right? The modern day smith is a scientist, man, that splits those atoms to create these thermonuclear missiles, man. You know. But other than that, man, that's pretty much all I wanted to get in the book of Revelations, the 18th chapter. Lord willing, this was edifying. But other than that, I like to say, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shabbarakatah, Shalom.